Practical tips for self-care. Spirituality. The third aspect of self-care is taking care of our spirituality. It has nothing to do with religion. So what is the difference between the two? Religion is an organized community of shared doctrines, practices, and rituals. Whereas spirituality, according to Wikipedia, has no single, widely accepted definition, but rather multiple definitions without any overlap. So I went to the dictionary. Merriam-Webster Dictionary had lofty definitions, the number one being something that in ecclesiastical law belongs to the church or a cleric as such. Wait, what? What does that even mean? The dictionary made it more confusing. So I went to a different one, Collins's dictionary, and it was a little more helpful. Its first definition is the state or quality of being dedicated to God, religion, or spiritual things or values, especially as contrasted with material or temporal ones. Okay, so that was a little more helpful. The other definitions were not. So I turned to my personal definition of spirituality. Bear with me. Have you ever been to a funeral and gone up to the casket to view the deceased person one last time to pay your respects? Do you ever get the feeling that they are a shell of the person that you knew, that their essence is gone? To me, that is the basis of our spirituality. That essence that makes us who we are, that makes us aware that we need to tap into a higher power than ourselves. That essence that causes us to yearn for a relationship with that higher power. That is the spirituality that I recommend people nurture, according to your personal or religious beliefs. That nurturing should lead to a sense of enlightenment, contentment, and fulfillment. There is a tendency to seek high achievements that include material things, money, position, power. But the fact of the matter is that those things do not lead to happiness or joy, and would be considered in biblical terms to be idols. Based on my definition of spirituality, prayer is an essential element to nurturing and sustaining growth. Prayer and worship are also found in every single religion on earth, although they may be expressed in diverse ways. Years ago, in another lifetime, I worked as a nurse in a pediatric sickle cell program. For people who are not familiar with sickle cell disease, it is one of the most painful diseases known to man. Think of the pain that cancer patients, especially bone cancer, experience, and imagine going through that daily and ratcheting it up 100% during a crisis. An artist with the disease painted a picture of a person in crisis, and it made me think of someone being tortured in hell. That is how bad the pain can be. Medications may dull the pain, but do not always completely relieve it. In those cases, we had to use different techniques to help our patients manage their pain. Things like distraction, imagery, meditation, and prayer. We had a chaplain who was part of the team that managed this group of patients and would pray with them and their families. Turns out, studies have been done to speak to the efficacy of prayer. The National Institutes of Health in one study found that spiritual meditation was more effective in decreasing pain and promoting relaxation than secular meditation. It also found that prayer was associated with remissions of medical and psychological illnesses such as pharyngitis, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, and more. I know that there will be skeptics and people who vehemently disagree with me on everything that I have said. That is okay. Indeed, there were also studies that said there were no changes in illness due to prayer. So it comes down to what you believe. I chose to believe that it helps. Spirituality is a personal journey that is determined by our own personal beliefs and values. No one gets to tell you what you can and should believe. I see people on social media daily trying to impose their beliefs on other people, maligning and criticizing them when they do not fall in line. That is not okay. That is a form of bullying. I watched a video interview that Tyler Perry, one of the richest men in America, gave on Facebook's Reels. Not too many people know that when he was starting out, he was so poor that he lived in his car. He told the interviewer that every time he hit a wall and had to change course, he could not think of any man who helped him. And he realized that was so he would give the credit to God. He revealed that his source of higher power was the God who sustained him when he was going through difficult times, who gave him the drive and talent to persevere when he was discouraged and felt like he was out of options, and helped him to attain the success that he now has. Like him, everyone gets to decide what they believe in and how they will act on that belief. It is called free will. We do have norms and mores that we must abide by. In other words, laws and mores that are supposed to ensure a free and just society. Lately, we have seen those laws and norms trampled, which has caused a collective increase in stress and anxiety. This makes it even more important to be grounded in ways to decrease and relieve stress. Some ways to help find that grounding include talking to your spiritual leader. Participate in community gatherings of your faith or religion, which will help to enhance your foundation. As the Bible puts it, iron sharpens iron. The gathering of like-minded people in fellowship and friendship helps to encourage and strengthen our beliefs. Participation in these rituals helps to decrease anxiety, depression, and stress, while increasing the feelings of contentment and well-being. They help to develop our conscience, which is our North Star or compass, if you will, to guide us in knowing and doing right from wrong. According to Pastor Paul Carter, who writes about what makes for a guilty conscience, if our conscience is aware of right and wrong, it can warn us against doing wrong and help us desire to stop doing wrong and change. He describes it as a tool that must be educated. If we ignore the guilty feelings that occur when we do wrong, we dull that conscience until it no longer works and the inner guide is no longer present to direct our path. Pastor Carter refers to it in his writing as a little voice in our head, or as the voice of God. Either way, when it is gone, it allows us to become morally bankrupt and no longer caring for anything other than our own selfish pleasures. But we are in this world together, and we all do better when everyone does well. So, guard it and protect it at all costs, not compromising integrity and morality for short-term gains and long-term depravity. My concluding thought is my hope that everyone can determine for themselves the meaning of spirituality, to be able to nurture it, which in turn is self-care. I hope this information is helpful and welcome your feedback or questions. As always, take care of your health and be blessed. References: Andrade C., Radhakrishnan R., Prayer and Healing, a medical and scientific perspective on randomized controlled trials. Indian J. Psychiatry, 2009, October-December, 51-4, 247-53. DOI 10.4103/00195545.58288. Fenwick P. Scientific Evidence for the Efficacy of Prayer. Royal College of Psychiatrists, 2004. www.rcpsych.ac.uk/docs. Matthews A. Religion versus Spirituality. Which one enhances your mental health? www.psychologytoday.com, December 19, 2019. https://www.lifehopeandtruth.com. What is a guilty conscience? Paul Carter, 2025.